the good life, full of fun.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. And today's recipe is inspired from last night. I went to Syracuse food and wine tasting. It was at the Hotel Syracuse. Great event. They had a celebrity chef they brought in to do a cooking demonstration. Her name is Gail Simmons from Top Chef. She was fantastic. I had a chance to buy her book. She signed it for me, and she did a great cooking demonstration on how to make a galette. In Italian, we call that a Torta Rustica, which is like a rustic type of pie. And you can make these sweet, and you could put blueberries and different types of cheeses and apples, and that's really common. You can make them savory with different types of cheeses, and then it's a lot of times in this time of the year in the fall with the onions and squash and all types of things. So today, when I was sitting there in the cooking demo with Gail, it brought back these memories of a dish that my grandmother, Caroline, used to make, or Nona, and she would make something, it's almost like a stromboli. The difference is, with a stromboli, you're using a pizza dough, and in this dish, you're using a pie crust. So let's go over ingredients. We've got a couple of things to make here. We've got to make the crust first, right? That pie crust, and then we've got to make the inside, if you will. So I want to show you how to make that pie crust first. This is a real simple, easy way to make a Torta Rustica pie crust, and this whole process to put this thing together literally takes about a half hour. So let's get into ingredients. I've got 1.5 cups of flour. Now I like to use a pastry flour. It's finer, it has a low protein content. It tends to be much flakier and lighter in crust. I also like to use a non-enriched, non-bleached. So I only want that beautiful nuttiness flavor to come through of the wheat. I've got 1 stick of butter. Now what I like to do here is I'll take a stick of butter, unsalted, and I'll cube it, and then I'll throw it in the freezer, get it nice and cold for about a half hour. So that's what I did here. I've got 1 stick of butter cubed, frozen, just pulled it out of the freezer. I've got a pinch here of pink Himalayan. As you guys know, it's sexy. And I've got a heavy 1/4 cup of whole milk. So that's our pie crust ingredient, plus a little extra, which I'll share with you when I put it together. Next, I want to put together that inside of this rustic pie, and we're going to want meats in this case, and we're going to want cheeses. So again, when I use the reference of stromboli, stromboli is going to basically be cold cuts wrapped in a roll of pizza dough. In this case, I've got prosciutto, I've got capicola, and I've got salami. And I've got in total about 1/2 pound of meat here on the tray. Now I've got 1 cup of wet mozzarella cheese, and I grated it. And here I've got 1 cup of Gruyere cheese, shredded. So these are going to be mixed inside of our cake, obviously. Next, I've got here about 1.5 to 2 cups, and it's a handful bunch of fresh baby arugula. Arugula is it's herby, it's got a citrus kick to it. It's got that peppery backdrop, and I'll tell you, this just goes so delicious. Next, as I shared with you, I've got some salt here, and today I'm going to use a pink Himalayan. It's briny, it's earthy, it's got a lot of good minerals in it, and I always say it's sexy. Okay, let's be honest. I got fresh ground pepper, only way to go, all right? And then today we're going to use some of the best olive oil in the world. So we're going to use Vito and Joe's. So for some people that are new to our channel, I own a farm in Italy. We co-op with a group of farms. We ship it here to the United States, and you guys can order that right online. You can get it right in the link below. You can hit our Facebook page, buy it now, or go right to our web page, Cooking Italian with Joe. Just click buy it now. We'll drop ship you a bottle right to your house. I call it a trip to Italy right in a bottle. So let's get making our pie crust first, and I'm going to cheat a little today. I'm going to use our food processor. No, please, don't be upset with me. And that's going to save us a lot of time. Guys, real easy. I'm going to go ahead and add my flour. I'm going to add my salt. I'm going to put my top on, and I'm going to give it a real quick pulse. Now I've got my dry ingredients done. Now I'm going to add my butter that just came out of the freezer, and I'm going to add a splash of Vito and Joe's olive oil, obviously best olive oil in the world. So I'm going to add like a tablespoon of olive oil. Beautiful. So I put the lid on, and I'm going to hit my pulse here. And I want to just get some of that butter easily incorporated and chopped up into small little bits before I add my milk. If I add my milk too soon, what will happen is everything will gum up and it'll take longer, which will heat up the butter. So I'm doing like a 3 to 5 second kick. Now I've got a beautiful consistency of what I want to create. And next I'm going to add my milk, just pour it across. And now I'm going to pulse it. And I'm going to keep pulsing it until I see it start to clump. I don't want to make dough, I want to make clumps, and it's right there. So guys, to prep this, I'm going to put the dough in the refrigerator. So easiest thing I find to do is just get a piece of saran wrap down, then just take your dough out. See how it's clumped? And don't worry about it all coming together. It'll all come together in the plastic. Just wrap it in your saran wrap, fold it over. Okay guys, pie crust is done. I've got it wrapped in saran wrap, nice and tight. Couple of tips on this. One, I want to shape it as close to what I want to start with when I roll it out. Because when it comes out of the refrigerator, it's going to be kind of stiff and hard, all right? So it'll be easier to move around. And I'm going to put that in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Why do you do that? Because the moisture content of the milk and the butter in here will hydrate the flour. When it does so, it makes the dough just absolutely beautiful to work with. It actually enhances the flavor, and it'll give you that nuttiness when you bake it. Another important tip that makes this Torta Rustica come out so good is if you subscribe to the channel. So there's a red button right there. And when you guys click that red button, hey, any new trips that I've got coming up in Italy, any travel ideas, any new recipes we've got coming, any new blogs with Blog Boreal, it'll come right to your notification box. And like I tell you guys every week, it really means a lot to me when you subscribe to our channel. And hey, makes you part of the family, you know what I'm saying? As far as the olive oil goes, you probably already got some. But if not, just click the link, ready to go. Guys, magic of TV, there you go. It's been 30 minutes. Dough set to go. I've got about 2 tablespoons of flour to help roll it out. Rolling pin, one of my favorite. They call this a French rolling pin, but I truly believe it was invented in Italy and the French stole it. I'm just saying. So real simple, I'm going to take some flour, roll it out. That's just so it doesn't stick, and I'm going to start rolling. One of the things I want you guys to take note of, you see these chunks of butter in there, if you can see that? That's beautiful. That's going to give us a really nice crust because it's those lumps of butter that are going to give us that flakiness to our dough. So thickness-wise, we're going to do our crust about 1/8 of an inch or so. Guys, our pie crust is done. You'll notice here it's just one really big pie crust. So what I like to do is, you know, to make life easy, I'm going to take a roller and I'm going to use one of my scrapers here, okay? And then I'm just going to gently roll my crust up. And that way, if it sticks, you can just scrape it off. So I've got a large pan here with my parchment paper right on top. And I'm going to take my pie crust and I'm just going to roll it right over the top. All right, guys, let's put this together. So I'm going to take about a tablespoon or so of Vito and Joe's olive oil. I'm going to put it right in the middle and I'm going to spread it out. Next, I'm going to take half of my mozzarella and I'm going to put it right in the bottom and spread it. This is easy, guys, so don't worry about being neat. In fact, the more messy it looks, the more authentic it looks. Next, I'm going to take my Gruyere and I'm going to take half of that and spread it. Now I'm going to take some of the arugula, just about half, not even, and neatly spread it across. And now I'm going to take my meats. So I'm going to take my prosciutto, I'm going to take my capicola. Now I'm going to start making a little bit of a circle here. And then I'm going to take my salami, same thing. Next I'm going to take my mozzarella, what's left here, and I'm going to take all of it with the exception of just a bit to top it off. And same thing with my Gruyere. Now I'm going to take my arugula, and again I'm going to hold back just a bit for garnish. And now it gets fun. Again, it's rustic, so you're going to bring a portion back just like this, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to bring back another section. You're going to fold it in. And don't worry about how it looks, okay? And then you're going to do the same thing here. Bring another piece back. And then you're going to bring another piece back. And then last piece. Now my last little trick here, I'm going to drizzle a little bit of Vito and Joe's olive oil on the outside and right on the inside. And I'm going to take a little bit of my pink Himalayan and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the outside. That'll get it to stick, the olive oil. I'm going to hit some black pepper on the outside and on the inside. And then I'm going to finish it with my cheese. And that's it, guys. How beautiful. Now I've got the oven at 400 degrees. I'm going to put this right in the middle. We're looking at about 30 minutes. So sometimes you want to take a peek at it and turn it maybe halfway or a third of the way through, which is important to make sure everything cooks thoroughly. And we want it brown and crispy on the outside, on the bottom, on the top. Again, it's going to be kind of like a pizza, but in the shape and form of a pie with pie crust. I don't know. It's Torta Rustica. It's going to be delicious, trust me. All right, I'll talk to you guys in 30 minutes. Guys, first off, the aroma in here, unbelievable. Secondly, This thing is still bubbling. It literally just came out. 30 minutes on the nose. You got that perfect crust. See all the cheese and how brown and gorgeous it is? The crust is flaky. You can still see some of the bubbles coming out of this. Now this tastes great hot, and it tastes great cool, and I'll tell you, it makes a great leftover as well. But we're not gonna have leftovers today. We're gonna eat this puppy. Starting to cool, the aroma's great. Best way to serve this, you're gonna take some olive oil, Vito and Joe's, and you're gonna drizzle just a little bit over the top. And in Italy, any type of pizzas or anything you're gonna get, they're always gonna hit it. And then I'm gonna finish it off with a little arugula while it's still hot, and a little bit of fresh ground pepper. As you guys know, favorite part of the video, right? So just like a pie. Now this thing's still pretty hot. The bottom of the crust is just perfect. You guys can see how flaky the crust is. Oh, look how perfect that is. Is that beautiful? You guys see the layers? How delicious is that, right guys? You can see the layers of the meat and the cheese, the crust. The aroma of the meats are just coming through. Guys, that is absolutely perfect. When I talk about texture, the crunch, that nuttiness of the crust is just perfect. You know, that buttery flavor. It's nothing but savory just coming at you. The Gruyere, the mozzarella, the arugula, all the flavors and herbs of the meats that have been cured. Oh, just delicious. And you got that salt and pepper and the flavor of the olive oil all the way through. That right there, I'm telling you straight out, that right there is gonna make you some friends. I'm just saying. I'm gonna have one more piece. The cheese is so perfect because it's so gooey and chewy, you know, and it's almost like the last thing in your mouth, but you've got that delicious crust just coming all the way through. Molto buono, molto buono. When my grandmother served this to us, it was always warm, so I love the aroma and the flavor, the texture. It just brings you right back to the kitchen, you know, when you're a little kid. Guys, how fun is that, huh? Thanks for joining me in my kitchen today. Remember, great tip, hit that subscribe button, make you part of the family, hit our website or our Facebook page or the link right above or below. Grab yourself a bottle of Vito and Joe's olive oil, makes a great gift. I call it a trip to Italy. I'll tell you, you order that puppy, we'll drop ship it right to your front doorstep. And one of my most important tips, guys, hey, at least once a week or a couple times a month, you know, shut off the TV, shut off the computer, get off your cell phone, put them in a basket, get the family around the table and, you know, make something, make a mess, burn a few things, who cares? Have some fun, experiment. You celebrate your heritage and you set some traditions. They'll last you a lifetime. I know they did for me. Hey guys, from my kitchen to yours, until next week, buon appetito.
Full of fun seems to be the idea.